Mm, cables. Gotta love the cables. Cables are life. Life of the network. Without them, you're wireless, and that's just a lot of silent noise. No, seriously though, the cables in a network they're like the veins in a system. They are very vital and important. In some way, shape, or form, you always have to connect to some kind of wire because we haven't gone completely wireless across the globe yet. Even your cell phones, which are wireless under the cellular networks, connect back to the tower. The tower might have a microwave transmitter to another tower or some other kind of base station, but then at some point it connects to some kind of backbone line that is probably a fiber line running tens of gigs, if not hundreds of gigs of bandwidth. So in this case, you're looking at an office. You've got all your computers that wire back into, cables, the veins of the system, right? And these cables, which are fantastic and fun in all their regard, are they're your high-speed backbone. In this case, it's a gigabit connection. So you've got the computer connects via gigabit to the main switch. The switch has a multiple gigabit backplane that can handle multiple gigs of switching at any given moment. And then it will be connected to some other kind of backplane. In this case, your ISP is usually your single point of your slowest connection. I wouldn't say it's the weakest link, but it is the weakest link. So in most cases, your residential or even office connectivity, you're looking at maybe 100 megs. Sometimes you'll get a gig. Bigger businesses will need more than that. But for the most part, most of your small offices can run on a business grade cable connection, which will maybe be 100 to maybe 300 megabits, which is still drastically lower than one single gigabit connection. So all these computers are interconnected via the home office on a gig, but any one of them could effectively saturate the entire upload download just based on how the properties of the switching works. And which is where you come into quality of service, QoS, functions of that nature where you're like, okay, this traffic's priority. So in the case that somebody is, watching Netflix and eating up all of your bandwidth, and you need to browse the internet just by, basic HTTP traffic, your traffic will take priority over the Netflix traffic, and that media stream will be deprioritized, or that website will be deprioritized. So in that event that all that bandwidth is being saturated by that one machine, the other systems will not notice as drastic of a delay or lag because their traffic will be prioritized over the heavy bandwidth usage, which is how you mitigate all that kind of fancy stuff. That's what the ISPs are trying to do with their prioritization of traffic. Except in that case, it's on the backbone. The backbone shouldn't have prioritization to a certain extent. Though I say that knowing full well that there are places that are mirroring all of the traffic that goes through it to make sure that all of this stuff gets passed from here to there, wherever. But the backbones are pretty heavy. I mean, those are some heavy pieces of equipment that can handle some really heavy loads. I'm getting a little off topic here. We're in a small office. That's what we're in. And we're constructing the network for the small office. We got all these cables, and I've got a whole series of videos that are coming up, or maybe one big video that's going to come up talking specifically about Asterisk phone system, because I don't want to go into too many details about this office and what it is, because it's not mine. So it's not my place to tell you guys that. But the really cool part is that I will be able to talk to you about the phone system and what it takes to put one of these kinds of machines or one of these systems into place, the kind of phones that we're going to be using here, some of the phones that are available on the market, why you choose one over the other. Sometimes it's just preference, sometimes it's firmware functionality, and one is better than the other for one reason. Maybe you're using Cisco and you need Call Manager versus free PBX or an Asterisk-based system. In this case, we're going to be using free PBX because it's free and it's functional and it does exactly what we need it to do in this environment. And then I've got some Polycom phones that were chosen. Those were actually chosen based on price, availability, and functionality. They're fine. And then we're going to get some SIP trunks piped into this place, and then from there, they're going to be able to have their phone system. They don't actually need a phone line running in here. It's all going to be running off of an ISP, which I find interesting that they've upgraded to a single fiber connection. So they're not using a two fibers. It's a single bidirectional link, which is awesome. That means they're using one of like 5 or 6 different transceivers, which is pretty cool. So that being said, look forward to seeing some of these videos that I'm going to come out with. I know it's been a little bit since I put some of this content out, and expect to see more. That's what I'm getting at. But I'm busy making this stuff happen because it's a lot of bloody work.